out of all the bank codes, this is actually the most interesting way. Because this is the one that actually is considered, when you search it up on the internet, it's considered a personality trait. But then this is where it gets interesting. It's only associated with women and children. I didn't understand. So I was like, oh, so men can't be nurturing.
No.
I figured.
Why would...
It makes sense. It's spot on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Uncovering Greatness podcast. As always, I am your host, Suleman, and today I am joined by the master processor, Nicole Mitchell. I have another question around processing, but I'll come back to that.
Okay.
Are you doing today, Nicole?
Very good, thank you, and welcome to all our listeners.
Indeed.
To be here.
I wanted to just do this as well. I wanted to say thank you to our viewers. This is going to blow you away. Our viewers in America. Our number one viewership is in America.
Wow.
Second is Canada. And third is South Africa. And then the Netherlands. So I wanted to just say thank you guys for all watching. I appreciate it.
Pretty awesome.
I know Nicole appreciates it because Nicole has been hounding you guys to watch. So thank you guys. We appreciate it. So yes, we are still doing the bank codes. So for those of you who don't know what bank is something that it's a personality profiling system that was created by Cherry Tree to basically help you connect better, but more so sell better. So it's around, I would say it's around business, but it's also around who you are, right? That's
correct. So it's about finding out who you are yourself, and then once you know who you are and you know what your values are, then you can identify with other people with the same values, or if their values are different, you know how to shift yourself to be able to connect with them. So if you wanted to sell better, you know, how do you sell to somebody who's a nurturer? How do you sell to somebody in one of those specific bank codes?
So I haven't asked you this question yet, but it's not about being fake, right? So for example, it's not about me faking it because I now know you're a nurturer, so I'm going to lean more into like community and I love community, but I really hate it. It's not about that, right?
Definitely not. It is about how do you connect with people, because I don't know about what your experience is, but certainly my experience is that the average person today is, and I say average because it's a generalization, it's not everybody, they are feeling alone, they're feeling disconnected, they're feeling anxiety, all these things, and it's because we have lost the art of connection. We have lost the ability to connect. And, you know, I see it, you know, people come and work with us and they'll go, oh, but Sylvia, you know, I feel left out because Suleman and Barry get on so well.
Been there. Been there.
And the biggest thing is you have built up a connection over time. This is not something that happened overnight. I mean, if I think back to the first 2 years you worked with us, there certainly was not the connection that there is now.
Barry wanted to kill me. That's not even an Irish thing. He just didn't want to go to jail.
But also you have worked very hard at being able to understand him and understand our Uncovering Greatness mission and being able to understand and connect with him so that you can put posts that he would post on social media. So you have worked hard over the last 10 years at trying to connect with Barry.
Yeah.
So you haven't changed yourself in order to do that. All you've done is you've understood him and you understand the way he thinks and why he does what he does so that you can duplicate him.
Yeah.
So you have not changed. You don't go around saying, I'm Barry Mitchell. And what you could want to.
What is this hand thing that you added to your impersonations? It's been 3 weeks now and I've seen you do it.
Sorry, I'll sit on my hands.
It's just when you do impersonations. It's the... Yes, I don't try. Threw me off again. But yes, what you're saying is spot on.
And so a lot of people today think that in order to duplicate somebody or connect with them, we have to be fake. And that is not true. We have to be able to understand what their values are. So you understand what Barry's values are. You understand his values are teaching and training, You understand that he loves freedom and flexibility. He likes to win. He also understands the big picture. He does lots of research and development. He's, you know, he changes his mind 5 times in 2 minutes.
100%.
But you understand all of those things. Why? Because he's an action and a knowledge. But without the personality profiling of B.A.N.K,
Yeah.
you have worked hard to understand that regardless. But now that you have seen B.A.N.K and you've seen the codes and you've seen what he fits into, I'm guessing that you understand a lot more of why he does things the way he does.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, you know, probably more, even across the team, actually. Like, I think that the way I understand you now is way better than I did 5 years ago, right? Because I think that yours is nurturing blueprint. I never understood why the structure and something as simple as a tablecloth must be like this. And I'm like, the tablecloth is on the thing, though. Like, I don't understand. You tell me, but over time I've learned, and this B.A.N.K has literally helped me understand it even more, right? So for you, it's like, I understand the whole thing of teamwork is so important. Are we doing things as a team, or are we doing it, or you doing what you need to do? But that's not teamwork. It's person work.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when we work in rooms, so let's say we set up a room for a sales exposure program. The reason why I'm so focused on the tablecloth must be straight at the bottom is not for you.
No.
And it's not for me.
No.
Even though it is one of my values is to have a straight tablecloth, it's for the other people in the room who value that, because there is going to be somebody who comes into our room who will not be able to listen because the tablecloth is not straight, because their value is structure and stability and systems planning, predictability, and a skewed tablecloth is not stability or predictability. It is, you know, things are out of place.
Yeah.
So a blueprint will come into our room and Barry will do all this wonderful teaching and their attention is stuck on a tablecloth. Or, for example, one of the other things like I will do is like, for example, name tags. We print out our name tags. So if somebody's name is spelt wrong, that may stop a blueprint from, or a knowledge, or whoever they are, from actually learning.
Yeah.
Because their name's spelled wrong.
No, 100%.
And it sounds crazy, but when you understand people's values, now you can understand why that works the way it does. It's just like if we were to sit and just go through a clicker and do 27 bullet points and talk like this, the action is going to be bored. They're not going to be able to learn.
No,
because there's no stimulation, there's no excitement. It's boring.
And you're just gonna be flexible with a PowerPoint presentation. You basically just, it's what it is.
And so suddenly you've got an action that can't learn in a room like that because it's boring. So it's understanding that when we set up our rooms, we are catering for all 4 of the B.A.N.K codes.
Intentionally. And that's the crazy part, right? It's not just happening by trend, it didn't just happen by chance. And I've seen that a few times with something as simple as like a water bottle. For me, I'm like, okay, the water bottle makes a little bit of noise. Okay, you're gonna die. In my mind, that's what I'm thinking, because I'm like, just get on with it. But in that blueprint's mind, it's like, I'm not gonna die, but I'm not gonna be able to focus. Every time I take a sip of my water, it goes, and they off.
I can't learn. And so that's where the B.A.N.K codes are so unique, because it's a code. Everybody has all 4.
Yeah.
And there are different times we operate in our codes, but it's understanding our values for the specific things.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, and I'll say after this morning's meeting, I am in my 3rd part of my B.A.N.K code, so I am in action.
Are you super stressed?
I'm very, very stressed. Crazy part is I'm taking action. I probably executed 4 things already since we left the meeting. So it's crazy. And it's weird because I haven't played in my strength, which is being a knowledge. I haven't researched anything. I basically just done stuff and I put it out. I'm like, whatever happens, happens.
But sometimes that's not a bad thing
100%.
because you've got into action and now you will get the feedback and now you can move back into your optimal code of knowledge and now you can do your research and development because you've got something to research.
Yes. And I think that's a key thing, right? Is around, especially around today's meeting. We're not talking about knowledge today. That's next week. But just as an example was, for me, was one of the frustrations was I could not communicate what I needed to research to the team to be able to deliver what I needed to deliver on. So I was just like, people aren't understanding where I'm coming from. So you know what? Let me just take action and then we'll see.
And so, like for me, sitting in the meeting, I could feel your frustration and that inability to communicate. And I was like, okay, so what are you trying to communicate? What is it that you're looking for? And you're going, I don't know. And it's like
the nurturer, right? You got harmony in what we were doing.
And so for me, I'm trying to go, trying to find out from you what it is that is missing. Okay. But I'm almost certain the nurturer, the nurturing part of you is the part that is actually missing on social media because and I could be wrong, but your nurturing code comes in around community, relationships, harmony. How is this? Because, you know, what I kept hearing from you is I don't want to be like X organization.
Yes.
And they are all of those things that are not nurturing.
Yes. It's not really community focused.
It's not community focused. It's not community driven. There's no harmony in what they do. They just push.
Friend, whatever it is.
Correct, on social media. Yeah. So now when you start looking at how are you going to create community, how are you going to create relationships, how are you going to put that across in your message on social media? And for me, that's what I was kind of like, you're looking to create significance. You're looking to create, you know, that community. We want to help, you know, and that's exactly where I look and I go, but that's the message Barry wants to get across. We're going to do this program. It's going to be African speakers teaching Africans. Yeah. And, you know, we're looking for a group of speakers that are diversified. So it's because we need black men, we need white women, we need black women, we need white men, we need
represent what our continent is.
To represent exactly, but it's to create community.
For sure. And
it's something that we've seen in other organizations that come in from overseas or wherever, and they don't do that. Their goal is just sell.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was looking at it, I'm going, that's what I see is the nurturing side of you is coming out, and you're not even aware of it because that's where your heart is.
See, guys, I keep saying this every week. If you're not contacting Nicole to help you, and I'm being the guinea pig for you guys, because what you said is exactly spot on. I could have never articulated that. There is no way on this planet I was going to say what you just said, because what you just said was exactly what I was feeling, but the words weren't. My daughter bundles were finished. It just wasn't happening.
So when we look at nurturing,
yes, so let's go. Very nice.
If we go to the B.A.N.K codes,
yes.
So B is blueprint, A is action, N is nurturing. It is our yellow sunshine, all fuzzy, you know, and bright, friendly. They are, you know, it's just they're the people that they're the people that love, and. Why are you laughing?
It's the way you explain this one. I don't know why. This one's always different for me, but I like it.
But their values are relationships, authenticity, personal growth, significance, teamwork, involvement, community, charity, ethics, harmony, morality, and contribution. So, you know, so funny. All I did was read the values of the card as I was telling you what they were. Like, I'm pretty sure you were feeling like this. And I just read the values of the card. But
no, the way you connected the values and what I was feeling at the time.
But and this is where it's understanding everybody's code, because I could see in this morning's meeting your frustration because you couldn't articulate the nurturing stuff. You were trying to articulate the knowledge stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And so for me, I was observing and I'm going, yes. Okay, so and I think I said a couple of things around mission and what is your mission and how does it connect to uncovering greatness, and I was really trying to get you to look at that, but clearly it didn't work.
I was not hearing. I was like, oh, what you saying, right? You're saying words.
And so, like, at Uncovering Greatness, you know, in terms of our mission is to make a significant positive impact on the entrepreneurial landscape of Africa.
Yes.
I know that my mission is to help individuals. Okay. But it connects to the Uncovering Greatness mission, because by working with individuals and processing individuals and helping them understand who they are,
Yeah.
they then grow and they can become better entrepreneurs or better business people, whatever it is. And it is going to affect the entrepreneurial landscape of Africa. So
Definitely.
your mission is also tied to the Uncovered Greatness mission, because it's about uplifting
it's
people.
Yeah, people in it's about uplifting people in Africa through technology, and that's mad because sorry, continue. No, because it even when you asked that question in the meeting and you said, "What is your personal mission?" I was getting annoyed because I'm like, why are you asking me these silly questions, right? This has nothing to do with what I'm feeling, right? I needed more definitive things, right? I didn't need questions. I needed do this, and this. But it was, and now after time, and now that we're doing the episode, I'm just having everything's just shooting off. Yeah, it's crazy.
And for me, it was, I could see, because I'm very aware of the codes and the B.A.N.K codes, I could see that it was your nurturer that you were, or the nurturing side you were ignoring, and you were going into the knowledge one, and you were going, boom, I need this.
Yeah.
Instead of, and that's where I started asking the questions around what's your personal mission, and I could see everyone looking at me like, what are you talking about?
We have one mission, and that's what we followed.
But it's to understand that, can we connect you to your value that you are maybe not aware of, or the value that's getting triggered by, the things that you're working with? Because I know that, in terms of when I'm processing, very much I'm operating in my nurturing code. Mm-hmm. When I'm setting up rooms, I'm operating as a blueprint. And when I am stressed, I'm operating in everybody's stupid. And where's the logic? Why don't people have logic?
Yeah.
But I'm very aware of those different things. And so when I'm stressed, I need to learn to turn on my nurturing and my blueprint and my action, not to turn on that knowledge of everyone's idiots.
Ooh, okay.
So for me, that's my goal is, so when I'm stressed, let's say if I'm processing somebody and you come and sit in front of me, you don't want me telling you you're an idiot or thinking that.
Preferably not. No.
So it doesn't serve me at all to be in that knowledge code when I'm stressed, when I'm processing. So I know that when I'm processing and working with people individually, I can switch into my nurturing one and my blueprint, even though I am stressed. I have to learn to do that at events.
So would you say it's hard for you to do that? Like when you're going into process, like you stress, you're aware of the fact that you're stressed, but now you have a session. Is it a lot harder for you to kick into it, which is your strength, being a nurturer? Is that harder to do, or is it easier than kicking into blueprint? Or knowledge, sorry.
I must say, when I'm processing, it is very easy for me because I've trained myself.
Wow.
I didn't realize that's what I was doing because I didn't understand the B.A.N.K codes. But after having been processing for 7-8 years, I've trained myself to kick into the non-judgmental space.
Yeah. How many people have you processed? Would you just estimate? Rough number?
I wouldn't know.
It's crap. 300?
Probably,
That's a lot of people, though. You must be exhausted.
I would say probably more than 300 now.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. That's a nurturing thing though, right? Like to be able to want to help like relationships, authenticity, personal growth. So that is what ties into it's one of your key values. Is seeing other people grow.
It's to see other people grow.
So it's easier for you to be able to be a processor because you want to see them grow. Whereas like with me, I would, as a logic is go fix yourself.
Yes and no. So knowledge is value self-mastery.
Okay.
So knowledge as a processor, they want to help people achieve self-mastery.
Ooh, okay.
So knowledge would work. In terms of values, a blueprint, the structure and stability of processing and planning and asking questions and what have you, that would also work because you're creating structure, stability, planning, processes to help people. So, yeah, in terms of, I think anybody can be a processor. It's just how do you tie it into your values and what are your key values? So I'm very aware in terms of my values are nurturing and blueprint. So I'm able to use those more effectively. So just like today with you, when you're trying to plan for this event and what to do, you were not aware that the piece that was missing were your values for nurturing. And I know that if you use those values, you'll do an awesome job promoting the event because you will automatically kick into all the things that we are trying to create.
Yeah. You know what the thing is now? I'm now moving in just this 22 minutes that we've been doing this. I'm already in a different space around it, and I'm kind of going. What I was trying to articulate about organization X is everything I don't want to be.
Yep.
What I want to be is an authentic, real community which is what we are, and getting that message across is actually not that hard. Right? Like, and now what I was saying in the meeting was it's going to be so hard to get that message, but it's actually not. I've been doing that for 10 years now, getting that authenticity across in terms of who Uncovering Greatness is, who Barry is, who Nicole is. And it's actually been quite simple to do. But I got so stuck in being right about it, then I wasn't in my nurturing space of actually let's be authentic and be a community. That's actually just what I wanted to say.
And also, I think the other frustration is because we are looking for a couple of other speakers to be part of our event, it's bringing in the speakers with the same values. And I think that's what you were trying to articulate, and you didn't know how to do that.
I have no clue how to truthfully say, I don't want nonsense here. I don't know how to say that.
We don't want fake speakers.
I don't want fake speakers. I don't want that because that is just going to throw the whole thing off. And having to go through a whole bunch of people and seeing the back and forth that you guys were having to go through in terms of speaking to these people, a part of me just kicked and went, this doesn't feel authentic anymore. It doesn't feel right. And the rightness of it all is people who buy into it.
It's
that.
Imagine that as a value for nurturing.
I mean, we met with two of the speakers last year. I think we spoke for like 20 minutes about it, and then we had lunch. They were bought in from the beginning. And I was like, that's it.
And it's been interesting to see other speakers that we've asked and, think about it. Yeah, I don't know. And it is true what you're saying is that when we find the right people, they're just going to be, I'm in. I love what you're doing. They're not going to be worried about the dates. They're not going to be worried about things. They're going to be, I'm speaking for an hour.
Yeah.
Or 2 hours, where and when.
Yeah.
because I want to make a difference in the continent.
And I mean, you had a cracking idea about a speaker that we could bring on that I did. She was on our list, but not as that. And when you said it, I was like, damn, that actually makes a lot of sense. But yet again, I couldn't articulate it. But I think that was, for me, like, as we speak, in such a key thing around what nurturers actually do and how it was. So, for example, I mean, you guys weren't in the meeting, but like the way that you did it, right? So, and I'm not trying to knock Barry, please, but just bear with me. The way the nurturer did it versus the way the action did it.
Oh, two very different things.
Incredibly different. And then I was just in a tailspin because I'm like, I'm really trying to focus on what you are saying to me, because I'm like, I'm picking it up, but then it's just in my ear here. It's just, I'm like,
and that's where you see the values.
Yeah.
Because the actions are just like, get into action, just do it, just get it done. You know, however you do it doesn't matter. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. And whereas the nurturer is going, okay, help me understand what you want to, what you're trying
That's
to
the
do.
problem. There's more to it than what you say. And you kept on digging and digging and digging. And only after the meeting did it actually kick in for me as to what the problem actually was.
Yeah, like now.
After the meeting. I mean, it's what, like 5 hours later. But it happened, you know? Ahas are funny things.
But it is, and this is where understanding values are so important, because I can guarantee you, in that moment, the action went into the attention thing.
That's what it felt like for me.
And they went into the attention, I'm the star, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the next thing. And what I was observing was it actually had nothing to do with that. No. And that's where it was, like, for me, it was quite comical actually observing it, because as the knowledge, you were trying to articulate the exact, like, the universal truth, the expertise, like, it's my competence, you know, to be a success, you know, all those things. And I'm killing myself laughing, because you got the action who's going on around, just get it done. Like, and what's the problem? I'm the star, just promote me. And you're going, but I need to be competent. And then the action's going, well, are you worried you're going to fail?
Yeah.
Of course I'm worried. Well, get over it. Like, just move through it. And it's very comical when you're observing the codes being played out, where you understand them. And for me, I was having such a chuckle, because I was like, oh, I can see exactly what's happening. And then it's to try and, like, okay, so what is our mission? And then I'm trying to go into the nurturing and bring the base without triggering anybody's or making anybody's values wrong, because there's nothing right or wrong about your values. There's nothing right or wrong with I'm the star, and there's nothing wrong with the competency or failing, or it's not right or wrong. It's just understanding that the different values play out at different times. And are you aware of it? So, like, for me, in this morning's meeting, you were not aware of your nurturing code.
No, not even close.
You were so stuck in the knowledge and this and that, and
that is the funny part is like, that's incredibly, I was really stuck in it. I was stuck in my competence. Can I actually do what I'm capable of doing, and actually doing this thing? What happens if this thing fails? If it fails, then it's on me. The big picture was that if it fails, then it's my fault. And I was like, and as it kept on going, it was so weird, because you could tell that the words that I was using were not
coming out correctly.
It was a whole, I might as well have been speaking French, because I was like, I know that I can, it's not even making you a star. You are a star. I can do, that's not hard to translate. But what about the people, and then, like, afterwards I was talking to Michaela about it, and I was like, my honest truth is, we can smash this event with just you and him.
Correct.
I don't need anybody. That's when I started to go. And as we've now done the podcast, I went, I just want this thing to be real. Like, I want people to show up and really walk away with an insane amount of value, and know that we have made a significant impact and we are on mission. Because the moment we end up like Organization X is the moment that I am going to be feeling like all of this was for nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, if you take Organization X, we're not going to do that
No.
because we are so far from that. I mean, we like just the whole thing of Africans teaching Africans,
Massive.
and Organization X doesn't do that.
No.
They're an international organization that come into South Africa and they bring in foreign speakers.
Yep.
And so immediately I'm like, but we are serving our community. We are going to use the knowledge that people have based in Africa and teach from that perspective. So we are not going to go and say, oh, you know, in America you can do this, or in, you know, Australia you can do this, or in Asia you can do this. We're not going to do that. This is, you know, it's African experiences, teaching Africans how to get better. And, you know, it's such I say Africans because my dad always used to tease me as a little kid saying, you're an African. And I always used to, like eventually I got to, yes, I am, because I was born in Africa.
100%.
I grew up in Africa. Africa is in my blood, you know.
Fully.
It's, you know, when we talk about, like, you know, I can go on for hours, but even though I'm white, and it's not about being racist, it's not about anything, I believe I'm an African. I grew up in Africa. I understand Africa. I understand culture. I understand people. I have been to people's homes in the locations. I have been to mud huts. I have, you know, spent time, you know, in farming communities in rural areas.
Yeah.
I understand those things. I also made sure my children did that because they need to understand different cultures. And yes, even as a white person who grew up in Africa, who's an African, we still have a different culture from, you know, blacks, Indians.
Yeah, 100%.
But it does not change our values. So, doesn't matter what culture you are, you still have values. Your values are your values. And whether it's black, white, colored, Indian, purple, whatever, aliens, values are values.
Yeah.
And once you start to see that in the different places, it makes, I suppose it makes it so much easier for people to get them all. Because, you know, in the very beginning, you said men are not nurturing.
According to the internet, yes.
According to the internet. And I just think that a lot of men that have those values are seen as weak. So they don't want to be nurturing.
Right. You don't want to be seen as weak?
You don't want to be seen as weak.
Yeah.
But yet, some of the strongest men I know, when they operate in those values, have created legacies.
Yeah.
And they have created significance. And they have made a difference in the planet, never mind the country. And so it's important to understand nurturing is not weak.
No, not at all.
And I look at, I mean, I don't know Nelson Mandela offhand. I don't know him. I didn't know him personally. But I can almost guarantee nurturing was one of his top codes because he believed in authenticity. He believed in significance. Teamwork, involvement, community.
Charity. Ethics.
Harmony.
Actually, he might have been nurturing first. If I'm looking at this.
Contribution.
Yeah.
So it's understanding that some of the greatest men in history have been nurturers.
They are. That's crazy.
Because they have, like Mandela, created significance. But all of the values that we see in nurturing, we can almost definitely say Mandela had those.
Yeah, I would agree. I would 100% agree with you at that.
And, you know, without having had a conversation with him but just from the way he operated and what he created in South Africa, it was one of, if it wasn't his top value, it was one of his top codes.
So I'm going to say something crazy because you brought him up. So my grandfather was incredibly close to Nelson Mandela. They lived down the road from each other in Mozambique, Maputo. And my grandfather always spoke about how authentic he was as a person. The type of man he actually was. Like, he was the type of guy who would walk into my grandfather's house, unannounced and just, hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. It was all about the relationship. It was all about the community. What more can be done? What more can we do? How do we improve things? And it's fascinating that you brought that up, because when I'm looking at this, like, there's a bunch of different males that are going through my mind where I'm like, it's actually probably nurturers more so than anything else.
Well, I mean, I just remember going to Robben Island and doing the tour, and the guy that did the tour had been one of the prisoners there, and he said that the greatest mistake that people made was they threw all of these guys into the same place, and Mandela was focused on teamwork, so they all worked
It's come together. I think they didn't think that went through. So, yeah.
And because, you know, different people have different values, but in terms of Mandela had the ability to create teamwork, and he got everybody on to work together, and all the different factions and what have you, and they were all put together, and then they all worked together to make things work. And so it's understanding people's values.
Oh, man. That's crazy. Nurturing was a lot better than... No, because last week I started off...
Most men give it credit for.
1,000%. There's no way. I think that I'd rather want to be a nurturer than an action, to be fair. I think most men have been put in the box of their action, their freedom, and all of that. But I actually think working on being nurturing is probably way more important. Like, trying to really access, like you said at the Entrepreneur Hangout where you taught on the codes. The goal is to get to 25, 25, 25, 25. That's 100, right?
Yeah.
Not 125. Cool. It's 100. I would probably say, and I guess, yes, this morning was a clear example of that. I have not focused on being nurturing. I've not tried to improve it. I probably tried to move away from it more.
And I'll share this story with you. It's quite funny. One of those moments, you know, I'm not proud of myself for this. So I go off to the shops yesterday, and walk out of the Woolworths, and I'm walking to my car, and it's quite an upmarket area that I was in.
Okay.
And I hear this car coming, and I turn, and it's this flashy red car with a male driver.
Oh, sure.
And I'm like, now I've got to cross the road, and I'm like, this guy ain't going to stop for me. And so I stop and I wait and let him go past, and I have all these thoughts about, you know, oh, you're probably, you know, this flashy red car, and you know, focused on yourself and what have you. And, you know, off he drives, and then he goes and parks his car, and there's nobody around the parking place. And I'm like, oh, you're so worried about your
Somebody
car.
scratching it.
Yeah. And I put my stuff in the car, and I was carrying a shopping basket, and I decided I was going to walk back. I emptied everything, put it in the car, locked the car, and I start walking back to the shop to take the basket back.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, this guy shouts, and he goes, hey, I'm going that way. Do you want me to take your basket? And in that moment, I take everything back that I just thought. I'm so sorry. I prejudged you because you were driving a flashy red car. You're probably a nurturer, and I take it back. But that's exactly what happens, is that society has created these images of men have to choose action, they have to be this, they have to be that. And I'm not going to lie, I was quite shocked that he actually asked me.
I'm quite shocked.
The basket, I'm going the same way, you know, then you don't have to go. And I was like, wow, you know.
He offered to take the basket.
And I'm like, he's definitely nurturing. But if I were to tell him that, he'd probably disagree with me, because he's trying to be an action, flashy red car, hot, fiery.
Nurturing.
But yet, if we take it back in context, nurturing is a very, very powerful, strong code to have.
Incredibly. And I think that's the baffling part for me as well. It's like like I was saying to you when we started, it's like it was more associated around women and raising children. And I was like, Do you know how much strength it must take to do that? Like, I think about you, I think about my mother. Like, I know that I wasn't the most easiest child to raise, and there was 5 of us. I know Michaela's not the easiest. The strength you need to have to be a mother and just a woman in this society is mad. And I'm like, why would we actually downplay nurturing and make it seem like something that is less than, when in truth, it's probably one of the strongest things that you could possibly be.
So, yeah, and we need nurturing.
Oh,
We need nurturing people. We need those values. We need people because we need another Nelson Mandela.
We do.
Especially after some of the comments that are coming from some of our politicians at the moment. They're not great.
You guys are not, our politicians are not any of the banquets. There's no knowledge. Your action is messed up. Who are your blueprint you're not following? And you are not trying to nurture anybody. So, what a way to end. I don't know what to say.
So, are you aware of your codes? Are you using them? Are you making them
Nice.
to use a difference? And are you using your nurturing code?
Yeah, that's a great question actually, and I think that it's something people should definitely look at. I will pop the link so that you guys can see what your code is and what you can work on. I remember I told you about one that I had, another personality profiling thing that I'd found, and I decided to actually do it just so I can see how close it was. But I only got halfway through because I was like 700,000 questions. And I was like, why are you asking me so many questions about? And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I just continued doing bank stuff because of the simplicity of it.
It's so simple. It's easy to remember. You can take it to the bank because when you know people's bank codes, you can definitely take it to the bank and you will remember them because of B.A.N.K.
Yeah.
Simple, easy, and yeah, makes life so much easier when it's simple.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Uncommon Innovators podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We truly, truly do appreciate it. Entrepreneur Hangout this Thursday at the Fat Ginger. $550 gets you in. Barry will be teaching on the power of process. I think it's going to be cool. I'll just like, well, because I think this also will tie into that, right? Banco, will tie in so nicely with processes. So yes, 550 Rand, Fat Ginger, be there. Book your tickets. I will put in the link. And then next week, we have a free Ignite Your Sales. Next week, Tuesday, taking place at Corporate Conference Center in Edenvale. Link will be also provided for that. But until then, we'll see you guys next week.
Next week.
Thank you, Nicole.
Cool.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Sully.
That was awesome. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.